We were completely wrong about the moon. For over 50 years, we treated it like a solved problem. 12 astronauts walked on its surface between 1969 and 1972. They collected rocks, took photographs, planted flags. We filed the moon away as dead, quiet, understood. On April the 6th, 2026, 4 astronauts discovered we understood nothing. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen launched on April 1st aboard the most powerful rocket NASA has ever built. Their mission was simple: fly around the far side of the moon, the side that never faces Earth and we've never really seen up close, take some photographs, and come home. At 4,600 miles above the surface, their spacecraft passed behind the moon, and every radio signal to Earth went dead. For 40 minutes, mission control couldn't reach them. They couldn't call home. 4 people alone with a landscape that looked wrong. Before the signal died, Victor Glover tried to describe what he was seeing. He's a Navy test pilot. He's spent 168 days on the International Space Station. He's trained to observe and report with technical precision, and he couldn't find words. His exact transmission to Houston. Humans probably haven't evolved to see this. Then, silence. What did 4 astronauts see on the dark side of the moon that a trained pilot couldn't describe? Look at the moon tonight. You're seeing the near side. The familiar face covered in dark plains we call Maria. Ancient lava that filled massive craters billions of years ago. About 31% of the near side is smooth volcanic rock. The far side has almost none of it, less than 1%. Instead, it's just craters, stacked on top of craters on top of older craters. Like something hit it over and over for 4 billion years and never stopped. The crust is 50 kilometers thicker on the far side than the near side. No one fully agrees on why. Something happened to the moon that split it into 2 completely different worlds. One side facing us got flooded with lava. The other side, the one we never see, stayed frozen in time. Battered, ancient, wrong. And in the southern hemisphere, there's a scar so massive it shouldn't exist. The South Pole Aitken Basin. It's 2,500 kilometers across. If you put it on a map of the United States, it would swallow everything from Texas to Virginia. It plunges 13 kilometers deep. The mountains along its rim reach 8,500 meters high. But that's not the strange part. In 2019, scientists pointed gravity sensors at the basin. They found something buried 300 kilometers below the surface. A mass anomaly. A blob of dense material weighing 2.18 quintillion kilograms. That's equivalent to burying a pile of metal 5 times larger than Hawaii underground. It's heavy enough to drag the basin floor down by more than half a mile. The leading theory is that it's the metallic core of whatever punched that hole 4 billion years ago. Still buried there like a bullet fragment the body never pushed out. The Artemis II crew flew over the eastern edge of this basin. First humans to see it with their own eyes. What they reported back didn't match what should be there. Christina Koch was watching the craters. Small, recent impacts glowing bright white against ancient grey rock. She described them as pinprick holes in a lampshade, light punching through darkness. But it wasn't just the brightness that caught her attention. It was the pattern. New craters scattered across terrain that should have stopped changing billions of years ago. The moon isn't supposed to be this active. Impacts happen, but not at this rate, not with this frequency. Something is hitting the far side more than it should be. Victor Glover fixated on the terminator, the line between sunlight and shadow. Along that boundary, shadows become so deep they look like holes straight through to the moon's core. He radioed down that it looked like black holes you could fall through to the center. He also noted something else. The way light bent around certain crater rims. Refraction patterns that didn't make sense given what the surface composition should be. Like the rock wasn't behaving the way moon rock is supposed to behave. The crew photographed a feature called Reiner Gamma, a bright, swirling pattern on the surface that looks like someone dragged white paint across dark rock. It has no elevation. It's not a crater, not a volcanic deposit, just a flat optical marking. And underneath it, there's a magnetic anomaly. The Moon has no global magnetic field. Hasn't had one for billions of years, but scattered patches of magnetized rock persist in the crust, like ghosts of something that used to protect the surface. Rena Gamma sits on top of one of these patches. No one knows if the magnetism is shielding the surface from solar wind or if something else entirely is creating that bright swirl. The crew photographed it as they passed. The images show details no orbital camera has captured. The crew also saw colors, shades of brown and green, subtle blue tints in certain regions, colors that orbital cameras flatten out, but human eyes can detect. Those color shifts reveal mineral composition, the age of surface features, information that doesn't match our models of how the Moon formed and cooled. But colors weren't the problem. In 2023, researchers detected heat on the far side, a region 50 kilometers wide, registering 10 degrees Celsius, warmer than everything around it. The Moon should be frozen solid. It's been geologically dead for billions of years. There's no volcanic activity, no internal heat source, nothing that should be generating warmth, but something is. They found granite, a massive buried block of it, and granite doesn't form on dead worlds. It requires water. It requires plate tectonics. The Moon has neither, has never had either. The scientists believe it's a volcanic remnant from 3.5 billion years ago. Magma that never fully cooled, still radiating heat after all this time, which means something under the Moon's surface hasn't gone cold yet. What else is still warm down there? Radar scans show something else. Underground tunnels, lava tubes formed by ancient flows with entrance pits visible from orbit, caverns potentially large enough to hold entire buildings. No one knows how big they are, how deep they go, what's inside them. Trapped gases, pristine volcanic deposits, temperature conditions different from the surface. Pure speculation. Future missions might explore them. Right now, they're sealed, buried under billions of years of dust. And then the crew saw the eclipse. As Orion swung behind the Moon, the sun disappeared. Total eclipse from lunar orbit. It lasted 54 minutes, far longer than any eclipse visible from Earth. The sun's corona blazed out in a halo around the entire Moon. Jeremy Hansen reported that the light was illuminating the entire perimeter, highlighting terrain features along the edge. Ridges and peaks stood silhouetted against burning white light. Mountains that had never been photographed from this angle with this kind of illumination. And during that eclipse, both Hansen and Reed Wiseman saw something else. Flashes. Brief bursts of light on the surface below. They reported it to Mission Control immediately. The science team asked for details. How long did the flashes last? Where exactly were they? Could they see them again? Both astronauts confirmed seeing at least one flash, maybe more. The duration was too brief to measure, a fraction of a second, gone before they could confirm what they were looking at. They were seeing impact flashes from meteorites striking the far side. The Moon has no atmosphere, no magnetic field, nothing between its surface and space. Every rock, every particle of radiation hits the far side with nothing to slow it down. For centuries, people on Earth have reported seeing flashes on the Moon, transient lunar phenomena, brief lights that appear and vanish before anyone can photograph them. Astronomers have debated whether they're real or optical illusions. Some are confirmed meteorite impacts. Others might be electrostatic dust plumes, or outgassing from the interior. No one knows for sure. The Artemis II crew may have just witnessed one, or several, during an eclipse that gave them a view no human has ever had. But they couldn't verify it. The flashes came and went too fast. The moment passed. The eclipse ended, and they moved on. What is hitting the far side? And why is it hitting more frequently than our models predict? The same radiation striking the surface is hitting the crew. Apollo astronauts reported seeing light streaks behind closed eyelids. high-energy particles punching through their retinas. Some developed cataracts later. Most lived long lives with no obvious cancers. That's reassuring until you realize only 24 people have ever left Earth's magnetic protection. The Artemis II crew is spending 10 days in deep space during solar maximum, the peak of the sun's 11-year cycle when radiation risk is highest. A severe solar storm can deliver near-lethal doses in hours. The Orion capsule has better shielding than Apollo, but cosmic rays from supernova explosions move at nearly the speed of light. They penetrate almost anything. Researchers call deep space radiation the #1 limitation to human exploration, the showstopper. If a solar event had hit during that 40-minute blackout, mission control wouldn't have known until the signal returned. The crew had protocols, pressurized suits, oxygen systems. None of that changes what those 40 minutes were. 4 people in a capsule the size of a van, separated from Earth by 2,160 miles of solid rock, bathed in radiation our species didn't evolve to survive. When the signal came back, mission control erupted. The crew had watched Earth disappear behind the lunar horizon, a pale blue crescent sinking behind grey rock. Christina Koch said that seeing Earth from that perspective reminded her how fragile everything is, how much we take for granted. But they weren't the only ones looking at the far side. China landed on the far side in 2019. Chang'e 4 touched down inside von Karman crater, first soft landing on the hidden hemisphere in history. It required a relay satellite parked beyond the moon just to maintain communication. You can't radio Earth directly from the far side. The moon blocks everything. The rover found minerals from the lunar mantle, olivine and pyroxene, material from hundreds of kilometers below the surface that was excavated by the impact that created the South Pole Aitken Basin. But that's not all they found. In 2024, China's Chang'e 6 went further. It collected samples and brought them back to Earth. First-time material from the far side has ever been returned for laboratory analysis. Those samples are still being analyzed. The results haven't been fully published yet, but what scientists are saying privately is forcing them to reconsider fundamental assumptions about lunar formation. The isotope ratios are wrong. The mineral structures don't match what should be there based on current models. There are elements present that shouldn't exist in those concentrations. Something about the far side's formation history is different from the near side. Not just geologically different, fundamentally different, like the two halves of the moon formed under different conditions or at different times. And no one can explain why. China has already announced plans for future far-side missions, longer duration landers, sample return from multiple sites, eventually a crewed mission. They're not just exploring, they're claiming territory, scientific territory for now. But the far side offers something no other celestial body can provide. And the far side offers something else, something no other place in the solar system can provide: complete radio silence. The far side is permanently shielded from every electromagnetic signal on Earth. Every cell tower, every broadcast, every Wi-Fi router, all of it blocked by 3,400 kilometers of solid rock. For radio astronomers, it's the quietest listening post imaginable. Telescopes placed there could detect frequencies Earth's ionosphere blocks, frequencies from the early universe we've never been able to hear. Multiple agencies want to build observatories there. The moon isn't just hiding secrets, it's offering us a way to hear the universe more clearly than ever before. But first, we have to figure out what the moon actually is. We landed on the moon 6 times. We collected rocks from a handful of sites, all on the near side. We built models of the entire moon based on local data. That's like landing in the Sahara and declaring Earth is made of sand. The far side is where the real story is. A landscape so old it records impacts the near side erased under lava. A basin so large it may have tilted the moon on its axis. A metallic mass buried so deep it warps gravity. Heat sources that shouldn't exist. Sealed tunnels no one's explored. A crust so thick it breaks our models of how moons cool. Victor Glover said something after they cleared the far side. Something simple. The moon isn't just a poster in the sky, it's a real place. He's right. And the more we learn, the less comfortable that becomes. The granite that shouldn't be there, the mass that doesn't fit, the heat that won't fade. Magnetic ghosts in a crust that lost its field billions of years ago. Moonquakes. Apollo detected, suggesting something still moves inside a world we called dead. Every answer opens 3 more questions. The Artemis II crew splashed down in the Pacific on April the 10th. They brought back thousands of photographs. Most haven't been released yet. The full image set is still being processed. Those images are going to matter. They'll show terrain features no camera has captured, shadow patterns, surface textures, details that will decide where future missions land. The crew also named 2 craters during the flyby. One they called Integrity, after their nickname for the Orion spacecraft. The other they named Carol, after Reed Wiseman's late wife who died in 2020. It sits on the boundary between the near and far sides, a bright spot visible from Earth if you know where to look. And when future missions go down, when astronauts step onto the far side surface for the first time, they're going to have to answer questions that shouldn't need asking about a dead world. Why is there heat where everything should be frozen? Why are there magnetic fields in a crust that lost its magnetism billions of years ago? What's inside those sealed lava tubes that radar can't fully penetrate? What is the metallic mass buried 300 kilometers below the South Pole Aitken Basin, and why does it warp gravity in ways that don't match any impact model? Why are the isotope ratios in far side samples different from near side samples if they're both from the same moon? What is hitting the far side more frequently than our models predict? And what did Victor Glover see that made him say humans haven't evolved to process it? Because Victor Glover, a Navy captain and test pilot who's spent 168 days in space, said what he was looking at was beyond what humans evolved to see. The moon is not what we thought, and we're only beginning to find out what it is. What do you think is hiding on the far side? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.